Alrighty, it's 2:32. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hot Topic segment right here on your favorite talk show with your favorite ladies called The Dish. My name is Ifunaya. I'm here in the studio with Ayana.
Hello, Lagos. If you are you late, it's 2:32.
I was on time. Cal.
Hi.
Ugoma.
Hello.
Hey. So, ladies, today's Hot Topic segment is going to be very interesting. For those who are listening, who would be watching later on, thank you very much for being a part of your favorite talk show with your favorite ladies. It's called The Dish. Now, we know that there are over 3.9 billion people who have access to social media around the world, which has made social media very invaluable for communicating and connecting with people. It has changed the dynamics of communication from what we saw in the days of our parents or when we were even much younger, where we do a lot of face-to-face communication, face-to-face meetup. But right now, it's made the world a global village, collecting people from different parts of the world who would probably never have been connected if not for social media. Now, today's question is this: has social media improved or worsened human communication? For us to get into this topic, ladies, I would like to know what your relationship with social media is at the moment. So what is your relationship with social media?
I've got a love-hate relationship with social media. I've always had it from the onset. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I can't stand it. Of course, when it comes to business, of course, I utilize that platform heavily. So I think that's how I feel about social media. I've got a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good.
Kellyanne.
Same here. I'm actually on a social media break right now. I'm only on my business pages on Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
At my personal pages, I just went off because
That's why you stopped sending me stuff,
everything
right?
was annoying me. The stuff that you don't read.
I read it on my own terms.
So I got tired of, like, there was just so much going on, and then you'd reach so much stupidity and you just want to insult people, and you're like, but this is not me. I don't just insult random people. And things are just making you angry because there's just so much wickedness and so much bile. Yes.
Yeah.
The things that
Like
people
something that happened
spew.
over the weekend.
Somebody can just state what they went through, and then somebody's just picking holes through it and trying to discredit them. Sometimes it gets a bit too much. That's why I have to back away. Other times I love it because there's so much funny stuff going on there.
Yeah.
So many
I like the
things
funny
to
stuff.
laugh at. Yeah. But when it just comes too toxic, I back away.
Okay, Ma, what about you? What's your relation? Fact. But please answer.
I can answer for Goma.
Goma is just there because they say she should be there.
And on only one platform.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm getting better. Thank the Lord.
Okay.
I actually agree, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, because she retweets my stuff a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so. I think my relationship with social media is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm a very passive, person. I think I'm more of reading and just going through as opposed to being active. But I kind of see myself in the future being more active. But let's see how that pans out. But I think anyone can agree that they do have a love and hate relationship with social media because it's just, when you're preoccupied with social media, it can be a little bit destructive to an extent, especially when you can't control what you're consuming, which is why we always talk about taking a break if you need it, if it's necessary. And yes, I think I'm a very passive user when it comes to social media, but I'm trying my best.
Now, just to write off of what Goma said, because you mentioned social media being very destructive, can you... Well, let me just direct this to Kel, because Kel, you've taken a break from social media. In what terms can social media be destructive?
I would say in different ways to different people.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the people who feel that maybe they've been hustling or they've been doing a certain type of business for a while and things are not going great for them, and then they see other people posting how they're succeeding and this and that, it could affect some people to think that maybe God doesn't love them, or they are not hustling as hard as they should be, or there's something they are doing wrong. Also for people who have low self-esteem, people who have inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Yes, and when they see other people, balling and everything, they start to feel a certain type of way, and it could move them to start to want to look into other illegal means of making money and succeeding or appearing successful, up to the point of borrowing their friend's bag or their friend's car, to just post flashy pictures.
True.
Or wigs.
That's terrible,
And then for other people who see social media as their outlet, especially Twitter, when they go through things, they post on there, but then people always want to attack them. People are sharing their lives, or people just want to tear them down. A good example is Chrissy Teigen, John Legend's wife, when she went through the miscarriage, and people were all over her with the mess. People like the Kardashians, anything they post, people are always attacking them. People who are just minding their business and living their lives. People like Toke Makinwa, she says one thing, everybody just hamps on it.
Exactly.
Like little things like that. It can be very harmful if you're not a strong person, and if you don't know when to take a break and step away.
Yeah, no, that's very true. By the way, just talking about the dynamics of, a lot of people wanting to live a lie on social media.
Yeah.
There's a particular sports brand that is very popular that apparently started selling virtual sneakers.
I'm sorry, what now?
$12 a pop.
What does that mean?
So what happens is that you could take pictures with a pair of sneakers that you don't own.
Okay, like is it the studio that's got like a cockpit, a plane's cockpit as well?
Well, that's
That
on
you can-
Snapchat.
okay.
That cockpit is on
Okay,
Snapchat.
okay, 'cause you
but
can
this particular sporting
on
brand.
Instagram.
So what they do is, I don't know how it, because I haven't gone to go and
Okay.
check. But what they're doing right now is to sell that particular application, I believe, for
Wow.
$12, where you could take a picture with those sneakers
Wow.
And you don't own them.
without owning
And
it.
people can't tell if it's real or not.
Exactly. So I'm just like,
Oh my
what in
days.
the world is
Like, are we
going
serious
on?
right now?
There you go. Because there's a demand for that. I'm sure that's the reason why they've rolled this out.
Funny enough,
out.
speaking of a demand, or somebody I randomly saw selling designer boxes and packaging, empty
Yeah.
designer boxes and
Yeah.
packaging.
But that's been on for a
And
while.
I never knew about it. I found out
They
about
buy
this
it.
like late last year.
Say
They
what
just
now?
like-
Yes,
This is just it's
yes.
not new. They buy it.
People
Empty-
buy
buy
imitation and put it in the original boxes.
They just buy like the Hermes, the orange.
And take
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah,
with
and then take
it.
pictures.
Yeah, so they
Or
arrange
put
the
it on-
bags
yeah,
and the
that-
boxes and just be like, shopping
babe,
is so.
Babe just ordered all
That's
of that.
it right there. That's it right there.
Listen, ladies, I
Look at
never
you,
knew
look at
that.
you.
babies
Man, I
could
kid
do
you
that.
not. I kid you not.
That is mind blowing.
Bro. Okay.
Wow. You know what? That's another angle.
Why do you think when you see some pictures, some
That's
people feel the
another
need to actually
dimension.
put the actual shoes on the boxes so that people won't say they're just posting
It's just
boxes?
empty boxes that they are posting. Wow, you know what? Ladies, let's actually move into the heart of the conversation
Yes,
today.
please.
Talking about how social media has affected human communication. So now the question really is this: has it worsened it, or has it made it better? Has it impeded on our human communication, or has it improved our human communication? So because we know that social media has influenced communication, definitely no arguments about that. But we want to know which is more. Has it improved it more? Has it impeded on it?
Communication is very broad.
Yeah.
It's very, very broad.
I was going to say what type.
Yeah, communication is extremely broad. And if we're talking about human to human interaction, I think that actually it reduced it, at least on my path. Not that I used to go out a lot to look out for my friends or whatever, no, but you find that you're following people's trajectory, whether consciously or unconsciously, on social media. So sometimes when you actually meet them in real life, you assume that, did we
Like-
I'm like, I haven't seen you like 2 months. So I don't know what you're on about, you know. When it comes to that face-to-face human communication, I think it has impeded it heavily. A lot of us don't typically go out like we used to. But having said so also, when you look at it from the point of view of COVID-19, it also is beneficial in that manner that people don't have to actually go out all the time.
Yeah.
That by the time you post whatever it is that you're doing on your story, so your real crew, your real clique know what's going on, or at least they have an idea of what you're doing. But I think for the millennials, I would say, and also Generation Z, I think it has drastically changed how everything is done. Because sometimes I see people putting out messages to friends that they can call on social media and they get a response. I would be a bit, I think I'd be a bit jaded out.
Yeah.
If somebody left a message for me, I'm like, you expect me to respond on social media?
Exactly.
Like, are you okay? Or just WhatsApp you or something. But for them, it's not a biggie. Do you understand? So I think with all the changes that's going on, it also has to do with each generation also, so to speak. Because I can't imagine somebody leaving me a message and I'm, but these guys do it and they don't see it as an affront. Sometimes people are putting out so much info that you don't think should actually be even in any public sphere. But they don't see it as a thing, So yeah, it has changed a whole lot of stuff for us, both negatively and positively.
Of course.
Yeah, it has.
Definitely has.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it's helped me in actually meeting people. Some of the people that I talk to these days, I met them off of Twitter, just by us tweeting at each other, having mutual friends, and then from us actually maybe meeting up somewhere, even if it's by mistake. And that's how I made quite a number of people that I have in my life right now. That's how I met them. And they're actually really good, cool people. And I'm not even talking about guys. I'm talking about women mostly. It's been really great. I've met a number of amazing women who have supported me and just shown me love off of social media. Yeah.
All right, Ugoma, what about you?
So I think in terms of face-to-face interaction, I think that social media has affected that negatively. And one of the reasons is because I believe a lot of people don't know how to articulate themselves properly, and they don't know how to be confident in the way in which they express themselves. Because you're hiding behind, the computer and you're typing away. But when it comes to in-person communication, a lot of people lack in that aspect. And it's not because you cannot communicate, it's just that you haven't really trained yourself to communicate better. So I think that is one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why, when you go to school and you have this debate, club, you see a lot of students not being able to articulate themselves properly because it's all about social media. It's all about, instantaneous responses and things
Now, before
like
you
that.
carry on, because I want to also tie into what, Ayana, you mentioned something about Gen Z and the millennials, how it's drastically affected their form of relationship, or rather communication, because it's now normal, it's now natural for them. Now, we've seen how very assertive the Gen Zs are. When they're trying to express themselves, you wonder, who taught you how to talk like this? But they're the ones that are most active on these different social media platforms. So how do we marry that? Where we are seeing that, yes, it's affected people who cannot necessarily express themselves well, but the major, should I say, social media market, they are one of the most assertive generations that we've seen.
I think it depends, because there are people who use social media and still have time to sort of like train themselves in the way in which they articulate their, their thinking, their words, and express themselves. But I think I'm leaning towards those people who are only just on social media. But when it comes to real hardcore training, they don't do that. So they just depend on just sending messages and things like that. And I think that that's what impedes on you being able to communicate. I mean, there have been times that people would say that, I had to go back, watching things. I had to literally train myself to speak properly. That could actually impede, because all you're doing is just using your fingers and just typing. You're not using your mouth. And you need to understand that you have to train your tongue, your mouth on how to pronounce certain words and how to even, project that,
Absolutely.
So a lot of things are going on more in your head because
And
as
then
you're
just to add
typing.
to what Ugoma is talking about, you realize that we also have an issue with text talk. Sometimes they send you formal emails and you got like social media abbreviations in your communication. And you're like, are you okay? Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, before carrying on with this conversation, if you're listening, join the conversation. We're talking about the effect on social media, on human communication. We're asking, do you believe that social media has either improved or worsened human communication? Which stance do you take? Has it improved or has it worsened human communication? Be it face-to-face, be it articulating yourself. What are your thoughts about this? And we would like to also know how social media has affected affected your own human communication with your family, with your friends, your colleagues, and the list goes on and on. You could join the conversation via Twitter at Lagos Talks 913 using the hashtag #TheDishLagos. You can send a message to 0809 234 5913. You could also call 0809 222 0913, 0809 191 3913. Lagos Talks, good afternoon. Who's speaking? Hello, Lagos Talks. All right, we lost this one. Keep your calls coming through as well as your tweets. What are your thoughts about this Hot Topic segment? This is coming from... you didn't mention your name, saying, I agree with Ayana and Kel. It's a love and hate relationship. Social media has helped in communication a lot. Something happens now and in a second, 5 people in different locations know about it. In 5 seconds, 5,000 people. In a minute, the whole world has heard the news. Look at the NSAS protest. It helped a lot. But, CN, this social media of a thing is a social sense. In a social sense, I beg your pardon, is quite crazy. A 16-year-old girl on my WhatsApp contact posted a video of herself doing the silhouette challenge. I scolded to the response of it's a challenge now. Letter writing as an art is quite dead as well. Young people can't compose letters, can't even spell. Statistics have shown that the amount of content and posts on average an average person reads online is more than what is contained in an average textbook. So when I see young people online every second of the day, I think, does she actually know that she has read more than what's in that textbook? That she closed groaning? You know what, the rest, I'll probably not read the rest because I don't really understand that. But we get the gist of what you said. So thank you very much.
I was like, groaning? What does groaning have to do with what's going
Lagos
on?
Talks.
What are you groaning about?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, who's speaking?
Good afternoon, Kellyanne.
Hi,
Good
Ibuka.
afternoon.
Hello, Ibuka.
Welcome. Join the
Okay.
conversation, please.
Listen to say, you have one more advantage and disadvantage.
Is Ibuka speaking in Igbo? Because I can't understand what he's saying.
So whatever thing that has disadvantage has advantage.
Okay.
So, but first off, I think listening to radio has helped me in communication at some point, some level. So, I'm thankful. The radio is part of social sponsor, right? So, for social media, I don't even do more on social media. I only post and just come up for there. Then come in the night and check. Like you are saying something that's okay, the text, the social sponsor, that's what I was saying. You think more and as you type, there's this thing they say, as you type, use your eyes. And at the same time, your eyes should go through your hands as you type. So it has done more harm in some angles, some perspectives, but it has also done more good to this very our life, so to say. So you just need to balance what's up for them, don't take it overboard. Well, let me seeing what like business and other things. There's so many things that weigh people down. For example, you go to work, take to work, you one day I need to take break. This stress is too much. You get some people you might get social media for them. So that's what people.
All right, that is noisy, but thank you very much for your take. You can join the conversation via Twitter as well at Lagos Talks 913 using the hashtag #TheDishLagos. We're talking about social media. Has social media improved or worsened human communication? Lagos Talks, good afternoon. Who's speaking, please?
Hello, Lagos Talks. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
What's your name?
It's Francis. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right, Francis, let's hear you, please.
All right. We're looking at if social media has improved communication. Am I correct?
Has it improved or worsened communication?
It has improved communication.
All right, let us know why you feel so.
Yes. When we look at communication, I look at it from the point or perspective of interaction. For someone who is shy, a shy person that cannot talk to people, that is always closed up to himself, which is quite dangerous. And looking at the name social, it allows them to be social. The platforms also suggest strength. So that way you're able to read the communications of other people and it helps you to key in. Yes, friends, they are very different, but they are humans as well because they are not chatbots. They are all operated as humans. It's just you're doing it on an online platform. So I think it has improved communication. we hear a lot of things that we will not even get to know or hear about the past.
Okay.
But for these social platforms, news can get to you directly without owning any other device. Right there, you get it real time as it's happening. So I think it has really improved communication, sincerely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Zook Radio on Twitter is saying social media helps in communication, and at the same time, it killed communication. Now, it has helped bridge the gap of communicating with people around the world or people that haven't physically met up, that because it would have been difficult for them to meet up. Then in the physical gatherings, everyone who should be having conversations and bonding are online doing the barest minimum. Even at games night, social media has enabled ghosting. Instead of talking things out, you just ghost and leave the other party hurt. It's interesting. This is coming from Chuma saying, as far back as 5 years ago, I had an agreement with my friends. If we meet, everyone puts their phone away. If you pick yours up, you leave. We still do that till today. Lagos Talks, good afternoon. Who's speaking? All right, we lost that one. So, ladies, just talking about how things used to be in the past. Because if you recall, Ayana, there used to be a time where you had friends probably in your neighborhood. You had friends in your neighborhood, yes. And it was more of you probably just walking into your friend's house.
Exactly, popping into their flat.
Their flat, without asking any question, without calling to say, I'm coming, just going in to figure out if the person is around or not. With the children of these days who are very used to what's on the screen, right? A lot of people say, children have lost their childhood or the essence of what it means to be a child because they didn't experience what we experienced when we had more face-to-face meetups with our peers when we were little. What are your thoughts about that? That description of what the essence of childhood is that true? Is that false? Where when we see the children of these days not having that experience that we experienced when we were younger, just not having that time to always get to your friends' houses, meet up on the streets or meet up in the playground or whatever the case might be. Do you think that was the essence of childhood? Has it changed? Is it better? Is it worse?
I haven't given this much thought, so I'm just going to say whatever jumps into my head.
Okay.
This conversation is like Ebuka said, it's both the pros and the cons. First and foremost, we have kids who are slightly more intellectually aware of a lot of things as opposed to when we used to go outside and ride our bicycle. Because now I've got my 4-year-old niece able to maneuver through my phone.
Yeah.
I don't think if there was a mobile phone, I don't think I'd be able to do that with my parents' phone. That's the truth. The conversation sometimes you have with them at this level almost sounds like as if you're having a conversation with an adult. But they've also missed out on that open air feel. You're riding your bicycle, you're playing football, that in your psychologist, aren't you? Human interaction is also very important.
Very key, yes.
That they lack. Hence the reason why sometimes they're a bit stoic. They seem to lack empathy sometimes. Sometimes, as young as they are.
Exactly.
So like I said, it's both pros and cons for me with the kids.
All right.
But then again, when you think about all the issues that are going on, security issues now, taking your kids out to the estate park, make sure you're sitting down there.
Exactly.
Make sure you're not reading anything or watching anything. That you're watching those children.
So even aside from social media being in the mix or not, the environment itself doesn't enable what we used to experience when we were much younger. This is coming from Dentist of Detroit, saying social media kind of flipped the coin. It bridged the gap caused by physical distance and simultaneously creating a gap between people in close proximity.
Exactly.
Weird stuff. Now, question is in relationships, guys.
Is that WhatsApp or
no? That's Twitter. In relationships, right? Seeing how a lot of people are able to chat, video chat, and what have we. Ogoma, and this is to you. Can people really get to know each other without necessarily physically meeting up as much? Because there are people that have been able to maintain relationships via technology, communicating via FaceTime and just calling or texting. So do you think people can actually maintain a proper relationship and get to know someone without necessarily physically, meeting up with the person as often?
I think it depends on the people who may be communicating virtually. It's possible for you to know someone, especially when we talk about distance relationship. It's possible, but I think the wherein lies the problem or the limitation is, can that person be open to you, or both parties be open to each other whilst communicating virtually? And even if you are interacting in person, yet people lie, people try to disclose certain things, people are very tricky with the information that they put forward. So I don't think social media or in person can sort of like slow or fast or accelerate the information that you give. It depends on the person in of itself. If you're willing to tell the person who you are and your family and detailed information, you would, irrespective of whether you have social media or is in person.
Yeah. All right, this is coming from Oluche saying, good afternoon, beautiful ladies of the dish. I'm just the kind of person Ugoma is talking about. I hardly meet with people. Sometimes when I finally meet, it just feels a little awkward. Maybe because I'm an introvert in nature. It also helps some people open up more because some aren't really expressive. All right, thank you very much for your take. This is coming from a listener saying, hi, ladies of the dish. Social media made me hate myself at some point last year. Instagram in particular. I had to take a break because I was really losing my mind drastically. When I see my mates or people that I'm older than doing better than me,
Like what Kel said.
I was like, am I sure that I'm living? But then I'll still be back on socials as pertaining to business. No low self-esteem again. Hashtag say no to low self-esteem. And I love you, Ify. I love your smiles. Thank you very much. That's so sweet. And we're happy that you've been able to walk through, what you were experiencing and it's getting better. Gabriel Judy saying social media through the lens of the bigger picture, considering bridging distances, it has been good, but zeroing it individually, then you can find its cons. Now, just to go back to what...
I don't understand.
You don't understand. Saying that in general, it's good.
Okay.
But when you start breaking it down
Okay.
individually, you start
Okay.
seeing the cons. Okay, just going back to what this listener had spoken about, saying that, how he felt miserable on social media last year. One thing that we've mentioned, I don't know if I've said this to you, Kel, saying that social media is... Sometimes you just feel like it's a gift from heaven because you just see the most silly things on social media. When you're feeling down, just go on social media. So
you just be laughing.
how do we marry this? Because on one hand, it's like it's a place where you go and you can feel as miserable as never before. And then you go there and you're just like, oh, wow, people are putting out stupid things and this is really making me at least forget my sorrows for a while.
It's your ability to create a balance. It's very important.
That's
You
it.
can't- You can't create that balance. Because sometimes I'm actually on social media just to watch the comedians I follow, both international and certain local comedians. And you just hear me laughing or certain comical handles. Because they're posting nonsense. So for that
Most
1
stupid
hour
thing.
or two that you're going to be on it, you know that you're going to laugh literally your head off, because maybe you're just trying to get some downtime or whatever, or you get onto the more motivational type handles, and now that the algorithms is just so messed up, is there anything that just sometimes pops up,
I think when it comes to social media, it's very easy for certain people to feel some type of way, even looking at Kel's information as well as the person who sent that message. And I think one of the reasons because social media in a way projects this distorted views about success, about meaningful life. And what usually happens is you're constantly bombarded, preoccupied, by these things that you're seeing. And when you do that, usually that elicits that sense of inadequacy.
Yeah.
And also ensuring that your confidence doesn't come from a superficial and material things. It should be well embedded in you.
Yep.
That even if you go on social media and you see things happening, it doesn't move you, because you know that at the end of the day, you're moving. Even though you may move in a slow pace, there is momentum, and you know that you're headed somewhere. It doesn't move, it doesn't shake you. You're just watching, and you're even congratulating people who are succeeding in what they're doing. So I think that your confidence should come from a very deep foundation, as opposed to on this, basic level, the surface level.
Yeah. I like that very much.
Well said, Ogoma.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is, we're all different individuals.
Of
We're,
course.
different things make us up. I've had to basically what you just said with regards to self-esteem and all of that. I've actually had to coach younger people that work with me. I literally, in fact, there's somebody that this happened to, maybe about a month ago. We're talking, and I was like, what's up with you? What's up with all these your sad posts, was what I asked her. And she was like, well, I'm just tired, Joe. But I'm like, tired of what? She's like, she now started mentioning names. I'm not going to mention anybody's name. In fact, one of them just got into trouble recently.
Wow.
The one of the people she mentioned, that look at this person, look at how, she's, look at how everything. I said, do you remember that we had this conversation maybe 2 years ago? She said, that I said that I would look at social media as if I'm flipping through a magazine. I said, do it. You know that in the magazine, the models are photoshopped. The advertisers trying to get you to buy into something.
Of course.
Look at it that way, Man, thank God for self-esteem. But high
Indeed.
self-esteem. It's a good thing.
Indeed. Ladies, we need to wrap this up, but thank you so much, because
I don't wanna
everyone
go.
has spoken very brilliantly. And I believe the gist and the meat and the heart of what we've been able to talk about today is that social media, if we're being very honest, could be seen as one of the greatest gifts for this generation, because social media has created a platform where we are able to get information at our fingertips. No one is really the custodian of information anymore.
Nobody.
It's created a platform for globalization. It's made the world a village, really. You could reach out to just anybody. You could get to know just anybody from different parts of the world. It's helped for integration of cultures. You being able to learn or align with or identify with different cultures from different parts of the world. It's helped for relationships as well. There are people that have been put in a position where they just have to be separated from their partners for several reasons. It could just be for economical reasons as well. Maybe your partner has to work abroad. It has brought several positives. But one thing that we've been able to identify from the cons that we've mentioned so far is the fact that social media has impeded on our communication because we allow it to. Because we have to remember that we are responsible for ourselves. Because even without social media being in the mix, if there was any form of technology, because the truth is, evolution is inevitable. We would always evolve as human beings. So one way or the other, communication would have evolved to something different. So be it social media or not. And so whatever it was that would come into play could also come with its cons as well as its pros. But it is up to us to be able to identify what is right, what is expected. It is up to us as the adults to be able to teach the children as well. Because a lot of times we see that children have so much screen time, they don't even know how to communicate with their peers. And so it is up to us as well to be able to regulate these things as best we can, to be able to identify the need for human communication. Because there's something that comes with the human aura. And, just that vibration and that essence that comes with someone. And you know how sometimes you get into a room and you're able to just sense an aura.
Oh, yeah.
You're able to sense that in someone. A lot of times you may not be able to do that over social media. It goes to show that innately there is a need for that human-to-human contact for us as human beings to survive, right? And so we have to identify that, take responsibility for that and say, yes, we know that there are positives from social media. However, because we know the necessity of human-to-human communication, this is what we are going to do to take responsibility to ensure that rather than it's impeding on our communication, it is improving more, on our human-to-human communication. So I feel like all in all, what we need to do is to take responsibility. Social media is not going anywhere, right? We have to ensure that we would use it as a tool to better ourselves as opposed to making it impede on things that are absolutely important and necessary for our survival as human beings. Thank you so much, everyone who was a part of the show today. We appreciate it. And if you're going to be watching this on YouTube, please ensure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, ensure that you comment, you like, you share our video, and we can't wait to have a conversation with you next week, Wednesday, 2:30. Remember, that's when our special Hot Topic segment comes on. Thank you so much, everyone that was a part of the conversation today. Ladies, before saying goodbye, any words? Would you like to share your details?
You can follow me on Instagram. I was like twitting. Oh, sorry, I wasn't tweeting. I was on WhatsApp. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Ayana Bijou. That's AYANABIJOUX. On Facebook at Ayana Bijou. 2 words. Have a blissful Wednesday.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KillOnline is my handle everywhere. Have an amazing day, guys.
And you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Ugomma_A. Have a blessed day.
Amen. Thank you, guys. And you can reach out to me on Instagram and on Twitter at Ify_I. That's IFY_I. Follow Lagos Talks at Lagos Talks 913. The midday show isn't over. Stick around for more.